Part 9. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 81. Locked in by Shen Tianxing's consciousness, she followed the scent of the two girls and finally found the two missing girls under the cabin of a medium-sized cargo ship. The two missing girls, the older one is 15 or 16 years old, and the younger one is only 6 years old. Shen Tianxing saw with his consciousness that the two girls had been drugged and were unconscious, lying on the ground. What made her even more angry and shocked was that under the cabin, it was not just the two missing girls who were imprisoned, but also girls lying on the floor in random order. All of them were in their prime and good-looking girls. Shen Tianxing counted carefully and found that there were several girls locked up under the cabin. The destination of this medium-sized cargo ship is Country T. Previously, Shen Tianxing saw from the sky that the man in black told the two couples that the two girls were kidnapped as a way to frame their Shen ecological manner, and that they would never hurt them until this happened. After the child is settled, he will send their son and daughter back to them. But judging from the current situation, what the man in black and his men did was clearly a pretense. Once these two girls are really transported to Country T, what kind of miserable end they will end up in is completely predictable. I wonder how their parents will feel after knowing this fact. At this time, Shen Tianxing had also realized that someone who could abduct so many girls overseas at once was definitely not an ordinary person. These people who kill 1,000 swords really deserve to die. Shen Tianxing took out her cell phone without hesitation and sent a text message to her second uncle Shen Wenzheng. Second uncle, when I was tracking the two missing girls today, I found a medium-sized cargo ship at the Sioux City port with many girls detained inside. Their destination is Country T. I will help you get rid of these people now. You bring someone over quickly to finish. At this time, Shen Wenzheng had received a call from Shen Wenru and was rushing to Shen's ecological manor. As soon as he saw the message sent by Shen Tianxing, he immediately said to the driver Li Bin, turn around and rush to Suzhou port immediately. Li Bin responded, yes. Immediately afterwards, Shen Wenzheng called Zhang Yuquan, the leader of the detachment. Yuquan, you immediately mobilize a team of people and lead them to Suzhou port as quickly as possible. There is a big case to be handled here. Zhang Yuquan immediately responded, yes, I will take people there right away. Finally, Shen Wenzheng made another call to Shen Wenru. Wenru, I just received a call from Xiaoxing. She said that she had found the two missing children. You can find a way to delay it for a while. Bian immediately took people to pick up Xiaoxing and the others. When Shen Wenru heard Shen Wenzheng say that he had found the person, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, then I'll wait for you back here at the hotel. Okay, let's do this for now and contact you later. After Shen Wenru hung up the phone, he secretly praised his precious daughter in his heart. Their little star is so awesome, no matter what happens, as long as she takes action, it can be solved directly. Shen Wenru looked at the two couples who were still noisy and said to them in a deep voice, you don't have to make trouble anymore. Your children have been found by the police, and they will bring them back soon. When the two couples heard that the child had been found, they immediately looked at each other. How come this play doesn't match up to the men in black? The child was found by the police so quickly, so how should they perform the next scene? Shen Wenru invited the two frightened couples into the reception room and asked them to watch them and wait there obediently. They were not allowed to cause trouble again. In addition, the man who took the photo, Shen Wenru, had also been controlled by someone. At this time, Shen Tianxing, who was still busy at the Suzhou port, had knocked down the two men guarding the door of the cabin and read their memories using the soul-searching technique. She then followed the clues and reached the cabin above, where she captured 4 traffickers who were playing cards and drinking. But what makes Shen Tianxing regretful is that among these men, there is no man in black. Shen Tianxing had no choice but to use the soul search technique on these 4 people again, and finally found the information about the man in black in the mind of one of the men named Lao Si. The man in black is named Wang Chao. He is 29 years old and has great skills. He is currently the manager of Sioux City Huawei Security Company. Huawei Security Company was a disgraceful organization before. Later, it was bleached and established as the current Huawei Security Company. However, some organizations in Sioux City are still led by Huawei Security Company. The big boss behind Huawei Security Company is the same person as the big boss behind the old place where Cheng Bureau had an accident. His name is Dewey, and the Taoist people call him Master Du. This time, the two missing girls were handed over to Lao Si by Wang Chao, and a sum of money was made from them. As for whether Mr. Du knows about this, Shen Tianxing thought to herself that she would definitely go to Mr. Du to discuss it. No matter who dares to attack their Shen ecological manor, that person is tired of living. Shen Wenzheng and his people rushed over quickly. When Shen Wenzheng and others saw the girls lying on the ground, they were all furious and wished they could kill these traffickers. The fate of these girls sent to Country T is either to be sent to the red light district or to have their organs cut off and sold. Younger children usually have their hands and feet broken by these cruel human traffickers and become beggars, becoming their money-making tools and being tortured by them. Abuse, you can't live, you can't die. Shen Tianxing said to Shen Wenzheng again, "Second uncle, I just read the memory of this guy named Lao Si. These two children were given to him by Wang Chao, the manager of Huawei Security Company. He gave Wang Chao 100,000 yuan. I think this matter is not that simple. You should first check this Wang Chao and the Dewey behind the scenes to see if they are targeting our Shen family. Or who gave them the courage to attack our Shen family." Shen Wenzheng nodded, and then asked her, "What about you? Aren't you going with me?" Shen Tianxing shook his head, a chill flashed in his eyes, and said to Shen Wenzheng via voice transmission, "I have to go to Country T first to completely destroy this human trafficker. Only by cutting off the source will these scum be restrained." Seeing the murderous look flashing through his precious niece's eyes, Shen Wenzheng knew that these damn human traffickers would probably end badly. Although he knew what his niece was capable of, he still said worriedly, "Xiao Xing, why don't we negotiate this matter with Country T? Although the efficiency will be slower, at least it will be safer for you." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 82. Shen Tianxing looked at Shen Wenzheng lightly and smiled lightly, "Second uncle, by the time you go through the various procedures and touch the other side, I'm afraid the daylily will be cold long ago. It would be faster for me to do it. Don't worry. I am sensible. I will collect the criminal evidence of those people and throw them directly to the local police station just like I did here, and I will never kill innocent people indiscriminately. As for those scum who are not innocent and have committed heinous crimes, it depends on her mood." Shen Tianxing had another reason why she had to go to Country T but didn't tell Shen Wenzheng, and that was the evil way that harmed people last time. The direction she was looking for was Country T. This time, she happened to be on the way and was able to clean up this evil path. Shen Wenzheng looked at his little niece with a determined face and knew that he could not change her decision. He could only pat her shoulder gently and warned her with concern, "Xiao Xing, since you insist on doing this, then go ahead and do it. But you must remember that your own safety is the most important thing. You know." Shen Tianxing smiled sweetly at Shen Wenzheng and said, "Second uncle, I know. Then I'll leave this to you to deal with the aftermath. I'm leaving." Shen Wenzheng also smiled and said, "Okay, I will take care of it here. I will also send those two girls back to the manor immediately. You can go about your business with confidence and boldness." Shen Tianxing smiled at him, "Thank you, second uncle. I'll see you later." "See you later." Seeing Shen Tianxing's pretty figure disappear in front of him in an instant, Shen Wenzheng shook his head helplessly and smiled bitterly. This little girl is getting bolder and more powerful now, and she even dares to cross the border to chase these criminals. As a relative, he would worry about her safety. But as a public security chief, Shen Wenzheng was deeply proud of his niece. With his chivalrous and righteous niece guarding Sioux City, the security environment in Sioux City has indeed become much more stable over the years. This is a blessing to the people and a blessing to their police. He really hoped that there would be more and more people like Xiao Xin who would uphold justice and peace. Shen Tianxing didn't know that her second uncle was filled with emotion because of her. After she left the port in Sioux City, she found a remote and uninhabited place, summoned the flying sword directly from the life space, and then attached to the invisibility talisman concealed her figure and the light emitted by the flying sword, and then she flew away in the direction of country T. The fourth child is the person in charge of cross-border human traffickers in China. He sends people to country T every time. The contact person in country T is named Luo Kun, a cunning, bald man in his 40s. The invisible Shen Tianxing sneaked into the capital of country T, Wanhua City, quietly. Based on the clues he searched from Lao Si's memory, Shen Tianxing also found out where Luo Kun lived. He lived in the harbor villa area at the port of Wanhua City, the capital of country T. This harbor villa area with its back to the mountains and the sea is a very famous gathering place for the wealthy in Wanhua City, the capital of country T. When Shen Tianxing arrived here, it was already 11:30 in the evening. It was supposed to be the dead of night, but the villa where Luo Kun was located was still brightly lit, singing and dancing, and bustling with excitement. For his own safety, Luo Kun deployed many troops to defend himself inside and outside his villa. But these are ordinary bodyguards, and at most they are a little better than the average person. Shen Tianxing still had an invisibility charm attached to her body, so none of the bodyguards at Luo Kun's villa could spot her. Shen Tianxing floated to the ground, put away his flying sword, then used the wall penetration technique, and quietly sneaked into Luo Kun's villa. She looked coldly at the group of men and women in the hall who were having shameless fun. In the middle of the hall, there were several women in bikinis who were twerking and swaying in various seductive postures. Luo Kun was surrounded by a group of scantily clad women, holding red wine with a look of enjoyment while looking at the dancers, his cloudy eyes glowing obscenely. An icy chill flashed across Shen Tianxing's eyes, and he sneered secretly in his heart. Luo Kun, while you are still alive, enjoy this moment to the fullest. If it's a little later, I'm afraid you won't have the opportunity even if you want to enjoy it. Shen Tianxing did not disturb Luo Kun. She used her spiritual consciousness to find Luo Kun's study, and immediately rushed into his study, setting up a barrier, and then moved all the things in Luo Kun's study into her space. In order to ensure that there were no omissions, Shen Tianxing opened his eyes again and continued to search Luo Kun's villa. Even under the villa, Shen Tianxing didn't let go. Sure enough, she found an underground darkroom under the rockery in the back garden of the villa. In this underground darkroom, there are a lot of internationally accepted federal coins, as well as local T coins. Even the Shenzhou coins of the country of China are worth millions of dollars, as well as a lot of gold, jewelry, jade, etc. Shen Tianxing secretly marveled at this. These guys who suck human blood can really make money. Since she met them, she would do a good deed today, help them spend some money to help those who are suffering, and also accumulate some virtue for these guys who suck human blood, so that after they go to hell, they can also suffer less. Shen Tianxing quickly locked all the things in the underground dark room with his mind. With a thought, he moved all the things in the underground dark room into her space. After she had finished sweeping away all the valuable things inside and outside the villa, Shen Tianxing took out the psychedelic powder again and waved his delicate hand. The men and women inside and outside Luo Kun's villa fell to the ground one by one. Unconscious. Shen Tianxing teleported to the unconscious Luo Kun again, put his hand on his forehead, and instantly read his memory. Lodokun's memory is very complicated and full of the darkest parts of human nature. Shen Tianxing looked at his memory and felt so sick that she quickly cleared away all the useless garbage, leaving only some things that she found useful. What made Shen Tianxing extremely surprised and pleasantly surprised was that she actually found the true whereabouts of evil Dao Huang in Lodokun's memory. Shen Tianxing was overjoyed. She originally thought that after taking care of Lodokun, she would spend some time looking for this evil way. She really didn't expect that she could follow the clues and find out the true whereabouts of the evil Wei Huang so easily. This is called you can't find anything even if you break through the iron shoes, but it takes no effort to get there. Shen Tianxing planted the hint that there is a ghost in the villa in the minds of Lodokun and the people present, so that even if someone wanted to investigate, they would never be able to find her. It won't be long before Lodokun and his men, who have done many evil things, will have a mental breakdown and become completely disabled. After finishing dealing with Lodokun and his gang, Shen Tianxing rushed directly to the location of evil Dao Huangzhen. When she rushed to the remote courtyard where evil Dao Huangzhen lived, she happened to see Huangzhen holding a very pink and cute little boy in one hand, and holding a sharp dagger in the other hand, pointing at the little boy's delicate neck. Row hard. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 83. As soon as Shen Tianxing saw the ferocious look of Xie Dao Huangzhen, and then saw a large wash basin placed under his hand, and finally took a look at the pure yang physique of this little boy, she knew that this evil Dao must be the boy was to be used as a cauldron to bleed for his practice of evil arts. Seeing Xie Dao raising his dagger and intending to kill the little boy, Shen Tianxing cast a freezing spell directly on Xie Dao without even thinking, instantly freezing Xie Dao Huangzhen and the little boy together, making him the dagger with its cold light could no longer penetrate. Shen Tianxing didn't even give him a chance to speak. He teleported to the side of the evil Dao and directly read the memory of the evil Dao Huangzhen. After confirming that he was the evildoer who did harm to the Zhang family, Shen Tianxing was very straightforward and directly used his spiritual power to instantly destroy the evildoer's entire brain. Throughout the entire process, Shen Tianxing remained invisible. Therefore, this evil man will not know whose hands he died until his death. Seeing that Xie Dao was dead, Shen Tianxing quickly released the freezing technique and rescued the unconscious cute little boy from Huangzhen's hands. She poured spiritual power into the little boy's body, undoing the medicine given to him by evil spirits in his body, and used her spiritual power to warm his body. Before she could handle everything, Shen Tianxing let him continue to sleep, then put him into the space and put him to sleep in the guest room of the space. Dugozixi, who had been practicing in the space, felt the movement in the space and watched Shen Tianxing collect a bunch of gold and silver treasures and then throw a cute little boy into the space to sleep. He really couldn't bear it. He suppressed the curiosity and worry in his heart and used his mind to send a message to Shen Tianxing. Xiaoxing, where are you now? What are you doing? Who is this child? Chen Tianxing heard Dugozixi's voice transmission and quickly replied to him, I am now in country T, cleaning up a bunch of human scumbags. I saved this child. Let him sleep in the space for a while, and wait. When I'm done, I'll send him to the Public Security Bureau here. As soon as Dugozixi heard what she said, he thought of those ruthless scum in the underworld, and his heart tightened, and he said to her eagerly, then I will go out and help you. Shen Tianxing heard the concern and nervousness in his voice and quickly said to him, no, I'll be fine here soon. I'll be finished in a moment. Dugozixi asked again, you really don't need my help? No need really. Then be careful. I know, I'm going to do my work. I'll see you later. Good. Shen Tianxing smiled. She put her mind into the space and saw the helpless smile on Dugozixi's face. She couldn't help but chuckle, and she felt warm in her heart. It feels really good to have such a man who can always be by her side, always waiting at her rear, and able to support her at any time. Very good. She calmed down the fluctuating emotions in her heart and searched around 11 Dao Huangjian's residence again, but found nothing else. Finally, Shen Tianxing's eyes fell on the storage ring on 11 Dao Huangjian's finger. She stretched out her hand and called for it, and the storage ring automatically escaped from Xie Dao's hand and flew to Shen Tianxing's hand. As soon as Xie Dao dies, the mental restriction on this storage ring will automatically disappear. Shen Tianxing's consciousness effortlessly entered the storage ring and saw that inside this evil ring, there were only a very small number of elixirs, a book of exercises for practicing evil arts, and about 100 more 10,000 Shenzhou coins and hundreds of thousands of T-country coins. Shen Tianxing sneered, "This evil way is really poor. However, it shouldn't be just that. It is said that this evil gangster does harm to people, and it doesn't cost tens or even millions at a time. Can he take action? He has lived for nearly 100 years, why can't he only have such a small fortune?" Shen Tianxing reorganized Huang Zhen's memory. Sure enough, she turned it over. This evil Dao Huangjian's base camp is in the villa area of Hailan Bay, a wealthy area on Hong Kong Island. In the basement of that villa, all the money he had collected in his life was stored, which amounted to several billion in assets. But in Shen Tianxing's view, this asset was worthy of Huang Zhen, the evil Taoist who had practiced Taoism for nearly 100 years. It is really too easy for a cultivator to make money. He can just give the wealthy people a magical weapon, help them set up formations, and read feng shui, and they will get a lot of money. The wealth accumulated in nearly 100 years is definitely considerable. It seems that she will have to find a chance to go to Hong Kong Island by then. Shen Tianxing packed up all the valuable things in Huang Zhen's residence and threw them into space. She followed the information from the memories of Luo Kun and Huang Zhen again, and found out the information about the rich people around her who had done many evil things. She robbed houses and collected all the money from these people into her space. She also left a curse mark in the minds of these scum. Next, these people will die due to various accidents. Of course, Shen Tianxing did not forget to send all the collected account books of these scumbags, as well as various evidence of their collusion between officials and businessmen, to the desk of the public security director of Wanhua City, the capital of country T. As for what they would do with these scum, that was none of her business. Shen Tianxing didn't know how much turmoil and unrest her actions this night would bring to the capital of country T. After she finished her work, she flashed into space. Du Guozixi, who had been worried about Shen Tianxing, breathed a long sigh of relief when he saw Shen Tianxing finally return to space. With a soft light on his face, he looked at Shen Tianxing and said, "Xiao Xing, you are back." Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded, "Well, I'm back." Du Guozixi smiled and asked her again, "Are you hungry? There are snacks I made in the kitchen. I'll get them for you." Shen Tianxing couldn't bear to refuse his kindness, so he smiled and said, "Okay." She had just sat down in the living room when she suddenly remembered that there was a cute little boy in the guest room. Shen Tianxing quickly teleported to the guest room. Seeing the little boy who was still dormant, Shen Tianxing could only read his memory in order to find his parents as soon as possible. When Shen Tianxing finished reading the little boy's memories, he couldn't help but sigh to himself. He didn't expect that the origin of this child was so extraordinary. She saved the most beloved little prince of the royal family of country T. However, Shen Tianxing did not intend to exchange this life-saving grace for any benefits. She planned to send the child directly back to the royal family of country T, and then leave here quickly and go home. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 84. Unexpectedly, the cute little prince who was sleeping suddenly woke up, opened his big innocent eyes, and looked at her with a confused and curious expression. Shen Tianxing was also a little surprised. He woke up automatically so quickly? He is truly a child with a pure yang constitution. He is born to be a good candidate for cultivation. Shen Tianxing reacted quickly, looked at the little prince, smiled at him with a beautiful smile, and asked softly, "Little Demi, are you awake?" Little Prince Demi looked at her smile and felt that this young lady was so beautiful. He grinned and his big eyes looked like two crescents. He looked particularly cute and his voice was clear and crisp. "Miss, you are so beautiful. Can you be my princess?" Shen Tianxing stretched out his hand and pinched his pink little face, and teased him with a smile, "How old are you, and you want to marry a princess?" Little Prince Demi said with an arrogant look, "My father said that when you see a woman you like, you should do it as soon as possible to avoid being snatched away." Shen Tianxing was speechless. The monarch of country T's education for his children was really extraordinary. Just when Shen Tianxing was thinking about how to deal with this child, De Guzixi had already rushed to her side, directly put his arm around her shoulders, and forcefully declared to little Prince Demi, "Boy, she is my fiancée. Don't even think about it." Little Prince Demi looked at the big boy who suddenly appeared in confusion, and looked at Shen Tianxing with questioning eyes. Shen Tianxing watched the two boys, older and younger, playing a game of competition here and couldn't help laughing. "Little Demi, this is my fiancé. I can't be your little princess." When Xiao Demi heard Shen Tianxing's words, his face fell instantly. Seeing that the little guy was unhappy, Shen Tianxing quickly changed the subject. "Little Demi, are you hungry?" When Xiao Demi heard Shen Tianxing's question, he felt his stomach growling with hunger. He immediately looked at Shen Tianxing pitifully and said, "Miss, I'm so hungry." Shen Tianxing reached out and held his little hand. "Come, sister will take you to eat something delicious." Little Demi jumped up happily. "Okay, little sister is so good," giggle. Seeing Xiao Demi's happiness, Shen Tianxing couldn't help but laugh. When Huang Zhenevil abducted Xiao Demi had already fallen asleep at around 10 o'clock at night. Therefore, Xiao Demi didn't know that she was abducted by evil and almost died. Otherwise, if he saw Huang Zhen torturing him with his own eyes, he might be really frightened. This is better now, this child must think he is dreaming. Even if it wasn't, Shen Tianxing would hypnotize him later, making him think he met her in a dream. After Shen Tianxing fed Xiao Demi, he used hypnosis on him to make him fall into a deep sleep again. She refused De Guzixi's request to accompany her to the royal family of country T. She left the space alone and flew directly to the center of the capital where the royal family was located with her sword. Although it was midnight, the royal family of country T was in chaos because of the sudden disappearance of the little prince. When Shen Tianxing arrived at the sky above the palace of country T, he happened to see the anxious-looking monarch of country T giving an order to find the little prince. The queen was sitting in the hall, crying. The little prince's 3 brothers and sisters were surrounding the queen, whispering to comfort her. Shen Tianxing, who had always been invisible, sneaked into the royal family quietly, found Xiao Demi's bedroom, and then quietly put Xiao Demi on his bed. Shen Tianxing kissed Xiao Demi's forehead and said softly, "Xiao Demi, I wish you happiness forever." After saying that, Shen Tianxing waved his delicate hand to wake up Xiao Demi. Xiao Demi opened his eyes and found that he was back in his room again, looking confused again. Thinking of the beautiful little sister just now, little Demi immediately turned over and sat up, got out of bed, and shouted loudly, "Little sister, little sister, little sister." The queen, many princes and princesses, and the royal guards with keen eyes and ears who were anxious about the whereabouts of Xiao Demi, all rushed towards Xiao Demi's room in surprise when they heard Xiao Demi's call. As soon as the queen saw that little Demi was back, she was so happy that she rushed forward and hugged her precious little son. "My little baby, where did you go just now? Mom and Dad can't find you." I'm going crazy. Xiao Dimi looked at the tearful queen, and then at his brothers and sisters, and couldn't help but wonder, I didn't go anywhere, I just had a dream, about a very beautiful young lady. She took me to her house and ate a lot of delicious food, but as soon as I woke up, the little sister was gone. Speaking of the latter part, Xiao Dimi's face fell down again. The queen and the monarch, who had just heard the news and rushed to the second floor, looked at each other. In the meantime, something must have happened that they didn't know about. Who is this pretty young lady? Did she kidnap little Dimi? Who is she? What's the purpose? People from the royal family are inevitably complicated. Shen Tianxing never imagined that despite his good intentions to save people, he would be regarded as someone with ulterior motives by the royal monarch and queen of country T. But even if she knew, she wouldn't care. Seeing that Xiao Dimi and his family had been reunited, Shen Tianxing directly used his flying sword and flew back towards home. By the time Shen Tianxing hurried back to Su City, it was already bright. Shen Tianxing saw that the time had reached 7 o'clock, thinking that her second uncle should get up. She wanted to know the investigation results of Wang Chao and Dewey, so she took out her mobile phone and dialed her second uncle Shen Wenzhen's mobile phone directly. Shen Wenzhen's cell phone rang once, and he immediately picked it up. Hey, Xiao Xing, where are you now? Shen Tianxing replied, I'm here at the school. How are the second uncle, Wang Chao and Dewey doing? Shen Wenzheng snorted, don't mention it. When we rushed to Huawei Security Company, Wang Chao had been silenced. When we found Dewey, I secretly attached a mantra charm to Dewey, but Dewey didn't know about it at all. Something. Xiao Xing, what do you think we should do next? Shen Tianxing frowned slightly, thought for a moment and said, second uncle, is Wang Chao's body still there? Shen Wenzheng immediately replied, yes, he is stopping at our forensic doctor's side for an autopsy. Then you go to the forensic office and wait for me. I'll go there immediately. Hearing Shen Tianxing's words, Shen Wenzheng was overjoyed, okay, I'll rush over immediately. As long as their little star takes action, there will be no problem in this matter. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 85. By the time Shen Wenzheng arrived at the Public Security Bureau, Shen Tianxing had already arrived. As soon as she saw Shen Wenzheng get out of the car, she smiled and waved to her second uncle and shouted, good morning, second uncle. When Shen Wenzheng saw the smile as bright as the sun on his precious niece's face, he felt that the haze in his heart disappeared in an instant. This child always exudes a kind of warmth that makes people feel particularly comfortable. It can always warm and infect the people around her inadvertently, making people drive away the darkness in their hearts and walk towards the Sunshine Avenue with her. Shen Wenzheng brought the breakfast in his hand to Shen Tianxing and said with a smile, here, this is the shrimp porridge that your second aunt made early in the morning. You eat it first, and we will work later. Shen Tianxing took it with a smile and said sweetly, thank you, second uncle, and thank second aunt for me. Second uncle, have you eaten it? Shen Wenzheng smiled and said, you've eaten, please eat quickly. Then I'm welcome. In fact, Shen Tianxing can go without food for 10 days and a half without any problem, but Shen Wenzhen's care and love for her cannot be rejected and she can only accept it obediently. She drank the shrimp porridge in 3 gulps, put the lunchbox away, and smiled at Shen Wenzheng and said, second uncle, I've finished eating. Let's go in. Shen Wenzheng nodded slightly, let's go. Shen Tianxing followed Shen Wenzheng into the morgue at the forensic department. The female forensic doctor Yejin, who was notified early in the morning, was already waiting there. When she saw Shen Wenzheng and Shen Tianxing coming, she hurriedly greeted them, hello, Director Shen, Xiao Xing. Because Shen Tianxing would come over to help Shen Wenzheng from time to time, everyone in the Sioux City Public Security Bureau knew this powerful little detective. Shen Tianxing also smiled at Yejin and shouted sweetly, "Hello, Sister Ye." Yejin smiled back at her and said directly to Shen Wenzheng and Shen Tianxing without further conversation, "Shenju, Xiaoxing, come with me." Yejin walked into the morgue first, opened a refrigerator, and said to Shen Wenzheng and Shen Tianxing, "This is Wang Chao's body." Shen Tianxing stepped forward and saw that Wang Chao was indeed the man in black in Tian's eyes. Although Wang Chao was dressed in black at the time and hid it well so that most people could not see it, Shen Tianxing had clairvoyance and could see through all disguises and illusions. After confirming Wang Chao's identity, Shen Tianxing stepped forward and pressed his hand on Wang Chao's forehead to read his memory. What makes Shen Tianxing regretful is that Wang Chao has been dead for a long time, and some of the memories in his mind have dissipated. What Shen Tianxing can read are only the deeper memories with some obsessions in his mind. In desperation, Shen Tianxing could only use his eyes to see his past. She saw in the sky that a man named Master Wei gave Wang Chao an order to frame Shen's ecological manner according to the plan he provided. After Wang Chao succeeded, he reported the good news to Master Wei. But after Shen Tianxing took action to rescue all the girls in the cargo ship, Wang Chao, who was still waiting for a reward from Master Wei, was killed by a disguised killer. As for Mr. Wei, there was only a voice but no figure. From the beginning to the end, he never showed his face. As for Dewey, he did not participate in this incident. This is also what makes Shen Tianxing confused. It stands to reason that Wang Chao is Dewey's subordinate. For such a big matter, Mr. Wei must first communicate with Dewey and then let Wang Chao take action. This is the normal process. But now Dewey has taken it out. Is there any hidden secret in this? Or is that Wang Chao just a secret chess piece that Mr. Wei buried in Dewey Company? After finding Wang Chao, apart from knowing that Mr. Wei was behind the scenes, other clues seemed to have been interrupted. Shen Wenzheng saw Shen Tianxing frowning and thinking for a long time without saying anything, so he did not dare to disturb her. When Shen Tianxing raised his eyes and saw Shen Wenzheng looking at her worriedly, he came back to his senses and smiled at Shen Wenzheng, "Second uncle, I've finished reading. Let's go back to your office and think about it carefully this case." Shen Wenzheng nodded and said, "Okay." Shen Tianxing said to Yejin again, "Sister Ye, thank you." Yejin winked at her playfully, "Why are you so grateful? You are so polite to my sister." Shen Tianxing waved to her, "Then I'm leaving." Yejin also waved to her, "Go quickly." Shen Tianxing followed Shen Wenzheng back to his office. She did not rush to tell Shen Wenzheng what she saw in her eyes, but closed her eyes and began to calculate the location of Mr. Wei. Shen Wenzheng saw her fortune-telling and did not dare to disturb her. He just sat quietly and waited for her to tell him the final result. After about 10 minutes, Shen Tianxing opened his eyes and said quietly to Shen Wenzheng, "The murderer behind the scenes is from the capital." When Shen Wenzheng heard that the murderer behind the scenes was from the capital, he was immediately shocked. "Beijing. Could it be that the higher UPS discovered something unusual about you and want to suppress our Shen family?" Shen Tianxing shook his head, and said with a sarcastic chuckle, "Of course it can't be an order from above, it's just some villains doing it. Second uncle, just pretend that you don't know there is a murderer behind the scenes, and just let Wang Chao take the blame. Let this be the scapegoat. As for those people hiding behind, I will settle the account with them slowly." Hearing Shen Tianxing's aggravated tone, Shen Wenzheng knew that Shen Tianxing had other plans. Shen Wenzheng, who had been in the officialdom for a long time, had already become a man. He only had to think about it to understand what Shen Tianxing meant. He also replied in a deep voice, "It's okay, the water in the capital is deep and we can't shake it. Xiaoxing, you must be careful and protect yourself, you know." Feeling the concern and worry of his second uncle, Shen Tianxing smiled softly, "Second uncle, don't worry, I will be careful. After all these years, you still don't know my temper. If people don't mess with me, I won't mess with others. If people want to mess with me, I will never forgive them. Seeing the confident and determined look on her pretty face, Shen Wenzhong laughed loudly and said, "Okay, just have your score in mind." Shen Tianxing stood up and said to Shen Wenzhong, "Second uncle, please go ahead and get busy. I'll leave first." Shen Wenzhong knew that she still wanted to investigate Mr. Wei's matter, so he didn't leave her alone. "Okay, I'll take you out." Shen Tianxing waved his hand towards him and smiled playfully, "No need, this place is just like my home. I know it very well." Shen Wenzhong smiled and nodded at her, "Okay, then go back by yourself and be careful." "Know it?" Shen Tianxing left Shen Wenzhen's office, walked to a remote place, teleported directly, and returned to school. Shen Tianxing handed over the task of investigating Lord Wei in the capital to Dugu Zixi. When Dugu Zixi saw the opportunity to serve his little star, he quickly left the space and told Mr. Dugu what happened at Shen Tianxing's family. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 86. When Mr. Dugu heard that someone was going to kill his grandson-in-law, he was immediately furious. Check. You must investigate to the end. I want to see who my little star provoked. How dare you touch him, my little Xing, let's see how I deal with them. As soon as Mr. Dugu gave an order, the people below were all busy. A dragnet-style inspection also began immediately. Mr. Wei, who was having fun in a gold-selling cave somewhere in the capital, was quickly picked out by the secret guards of the Dugu family. His name is Wei Changde, he is 42 years old, and he is the third son of the head of the Wei family in the capital. And this Wei family is the sworn enemy of Mr. Li's family. When Shen Tianxing saved Mr. Li, their family was unable to move forward, and the head of the Wei family was filled with resentment. While other families were still holding a wait-and-see attitude towards Shen Tianxing, the Wei family couldn't bear it any longer. Although they also investigated Shen Tianxing's background, they also knew that the Shen family was now the richest man in Su City, and Shen Tianxing also had a second uncle who was a small leader in Su City. But in the eyes of the Wei family, who have long held high positions in the capital, the Shen family is just a small local figure who can be easily crushed to death. The Wei family not only wants to destroy the Shen family, but also covets the Shen family's ecological manor, which has a lot of money. After destroying the Shen family, they want to put the profitable Shen family ecological manor into the pocket of their Wei family. The Wei family's abacus was very good. After discussion as a family, it was decided that Wei Changde, the third eldest son of the Wei family, would find someone to kill him. The Wei family felt that even if something happened, the head of the Wei family could say that it was the third son who made his own decision and it was none of their Wei family's business. After the investigation results came out, Dugu Zixi immediately entered the space, called Shen Tianxing into the space, and told Shen Tianxing the results of the investigation. Finally, he asked Shen Tianxing softly, "Xiao Xing, what do you want to do with them?" Shen Tianxing smiled softly, and a cold glint flashed in his clear eyes. "If it is someone with evil intentions, we will naturally eliminate harm for the people." "Zixi, don't you think so?" Dugu Zixi nodded and smiled, "That's the truth, I understand. Don't worry, we will handle this matter. I guarantee you will be satisfied." What Dugu Zixi said was true. The people below dared to act randomly, but it was because his father failed to manage people well. Shen Tianxing warned him again, "You should also be careful and don't let others take advantage of you. Otherwise, should I handle them?" Dugu Zixi smiled softly and said, "Are you looking down on me too much? Although my current cultivation level is not as good as yours, I am still much better than others. I can still do small things. Besides, these people's homes are filled with filth and evil, so cleaning them up is not as difficult as you think. Duguzixi looked calm, as if everything was under his control. When Shen Tianxing heard what he said, he chuckled and said, "Okay, then I'll leave the rest to you." Duguzixi smiled and rubbed her head, "Be good." His inadvertent action made Shen Tianxing lose his mind again. The master in the previous life always liked to rub her head gently like him, and then say to her, "Be good." When Shen Tianxing looked at Duguzixi at this time, he couldn't help but miss the cold and domineering master in his previous life. As time goes by, this reincarnated master, as his age and cultivation level increase, will definitely turn into that man who is looked up to, domineering over the world, aloof and domineering. Her mood was somewhat contradictory. She was looking forward to that day but also afraid of it. It would be perfect if the cold and domineering master in his previous life could merge with this warm and cute little master. After Duguzixi said that he would be responsible for handling the matters in the capital, Shen Tianxing didn't think about it anymore and just waited for Duguzixi to give her the final result. As for the two couples who framed Shen's ecological manor resort hotel, after their daughter was found, they were warned by people from the Public Security Bureau. They also apologized to Shen Wenru and the others in embarrassment, and finally settled down in despair. Take the baggage and leave. As for their son who was kidnapped by Wang Chao and sold to an unknown ravine, whether he can come back again depends on God's will. Sometimes, those who do evil may not necessarily get retribution on themselves, but it may also bring harm to future generations. The results that these two couples have reached now can be regarded as another punishment for their evil deeds. After the incident came to an end, Shen Tianxing also returned to school and attended classes normally. Zhang Hua is also back. However, the sadness of the death of his loved one still lingered on his body, and his whole person seemed to have lost all energy. It made Shen Tianxing, Wu Haishan, Gao Lingfeng, and others feel sorry for him. In order to open up Zhang Hua's heart, Shen Tianxing, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng decided to follow Shen Tianxing's suggestion after discussion. This weekend, the three of them went to Shen's ecological manor for a vacation together. Shen Tianxing was the host and all-inclusive. Personal fees are free. Shen Tianxing also greeted Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia in advance. It was a rare occasion for Shen Tianxing to invite his classmates over to play, and Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia naturally welcomed them very much. They also enthusiastically helped Shen Tianxing prepare meals for her classmates, and arranged the accommodation for the three of them in advance. Shen Tianxing was very grateful for his parents' strong support and said a lot of nice things, making Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia happy. Friday is here in the blink of an eye. Shen Wenru personally came to take Shen Tianxing home again. Shen Tianxing made an appointment with Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng at the school gate. He would wait for them at home tomorrow and waved goodbye to them. On the way back, Shen Wenru asked Shen Tianxing about his recent homework. Shen Tianxing smiled playfully and teased Shen Wenru, "Dad, I'm so smart, why don't you trust me?" Shen Wenru couldn't help but laugh when he saw his confident daughter. His little star really didn't let their parents worry, but she worried more about them. He and his wife lamented countless times that Xiaoxing was really a lucky star sent to their family by God. As soon as Shen Wenru and Shen Tianxing returned home, her aunt Ma Hongying came up to her eagerly and said nervously to Shen Tianxing, "Xiaoxing, come quickly and take a look at your elder brother. He seems to be possessed today. Likewise, he suddenly told us that he wanted to quit his job and marry a woman from other provinces. He also said that he would go back to her hometown with that woman to live. You also know how much your eldest brother loves his job. He is so abnormal today, I'm afraid he was poisoned by that woman." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 87. After hearing what her aunt said, Shen Tianxing also felt excited. The eldest cousin of her family and several other cousins can be regarded as the disciples she trained. Although they are relatives and have not officially determined the title of master and apprentice, Shen Tianxing can be regarded as the disciples between this eldest cousin and several other cousins. Brother also spent a lot of effort to guide them. These cousins of hers are not only good at martial arts, but also handsome and tall. They can charm many women when they go out. If any woman would use extreme means to deal with or conquer them in order to gain their love, Shen Tianxing would completely believe it. Shen Tianxing has always protected her shortcomings, and her cousins have always doted on her. She will never allow anyone to bully her relatives. Now when she heard her eldest uncle say this, she quickly comforted her and said, "Auntie, don't worry, I'll go with you and see my eldest brother first." Ma Hongying held Shen Tianxing's hand gratefully and said with red eyes, "Xiao Xing, thank you in advance." Shen Tianxing smiled and patted her hand, "Auntie, we are a family. Don't worry, I won't let others bully my eldest brother. If that woman really does something mean to my eldest brother, she will definitely make her pay the price." When Ma Hongying heard what Shen Tianxing said, the tension and uneasiness on her face became less intense, and she was even more grateful to Shen Tianxing. Okay, as long as you are here, I will feel relieved." Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "Auntie, let's go quickly." "Okay, let's go. Let's go." Ma Hongying pulled Shen Tianxing and hurriedly walked out. Shen Wenru asked his wife Li Xiaoxia to stay at home and wait for their two sons to come home from school, while he followed Shen Tianxing to his eldest brother's house. He is also very concerned and worried about his eldest nephew and wants to know what happened to him. Was it really someone who secretly poisoned her? The three villas where the Shen brothers live are in a row, very close to each other, with less than 100 meters between each one. When Shen Tianxing rushed to her uncle Shen Wenjun's house, before she even entered the door, she heard her eldest cousin Shen Tianrui, who was always rational and calm, yelling, "I'm going to marry Yingying. I'm going to marry Yingying. If you don't let me marry Yingying, I will die together with Yingying." After hearing Shen Tianrui's roaring words, Shen Tianxing knew that Shen Tianrui must be possessed without going in to see anyone. Her eldest cousin has always had a cool and cold temperament. He is very calm and rational in doing things, calm and generous, has excellent self-control, and has good skills. Ordinary people cannot touch him at all. Thinking that his always outstanding eldest cousin was made to look like this crazy, Shen Tianxing wanted to cut the person who had done the evil into pieces. Ma Hongying was even more heartbroken when she heard her son's roar. She complained to Shen Tianxing with resentment in her tone, "Xiao Xing, look at your elder brother. Doesn't he look like him anymore? I don't know who killed 1,000 swords. Yes, you actually want to use such insidious means to harm my son, Wu." Seeing the aunt wiping away her tears, Shen Tianxing comforted her softly, "Auntie, please stop crying. Brother will be fine. Trust me, okay?" Ma Hongying quickly wiped away her tears and nodded vigorously, "Xiao Xing, I believe you. I believe it." Shen Tianxing walked in calmly. As soon as her uncle Shen Wenjun saw Shen Tianxing coming, he immediately came up to him excitedly, "Xiao Xing, you're here, come and see your brother, what's going on? He's really possessed today, how can we persuade him? He can't even persuade him." Shen Tianxing waved his hand towards him, "Uncle, don't worry, I'll handle it." No matter how anxious Shen Wenjun was, when he heard what Shen Tianxing said, he could only respond bitterly, "Okay, then I'll trouble you, Xiao Xing." Shen Tianxing raised his eyes to look at Shen Tianrui again. At this time, Shen Tianrui's eyes, which were usually cold and wise, were full of madness and had an abnormal blush. A black ghostly aura lingered in the area of his brain. When Shen Tianrui saw Shen Tianxing, a trace of struggle flashed in his eyes, as if he was trying to break free from the control that restricted his thoughts and consciousness. But in the end, his eyes still failed to regain their clarity, and he returned to madness. Seeing Shen Tianrui like this, Shen Tianxing felt extremely distressed. Her eldest cousin has loved her very much since she was a child. Every time after school, he must go to see her first and give her a hug. If he has something delicious or fun, he will also come to her next time. Think of her first for a moment. But now, he has been harmed. Shen Tianxing couldn't bear to look at his expression like a ferocious beast about to eat someone, so he waved his hand and sealed his brain, causing him to fall into a deep sleep. She stepped forward, caught his fallen body, and carefully laid him down on the couch. Shen Tianxing opened his eyes and looked at Shen Tianrui. On the screen displayed by the Sky Eye, Shen Tianrui, wearing a police uniform, was still so majestic and handsome. No matter where he went, there were women who couldn't look away from him. 2 days ago, they received a report that a woman in a red dress in a well-known high-rise community committed suicide by jumping off a building in the middle of the night. Shen Tianrui and the others immediately rushed over to investigate the scene. The name of the deceased was Shen Yingying. She was 20 years old, fair-skinned, and beautiful. She used to be the accounting department manager of Shengyang Hotel in Suzhou. She resigned suddenly a month ago and lived on the 18th floor of building A in this community. The real estate in this community does not belong to her, but to Shengli, the owner of Shengyang Hotel. The crime scene and the scene at Shen Yingying's home were both very clean, and there was no trace of man-made murder. Unable to find any evidence, Shen Tianrui and the others could only tentatively classify Shen Yingying's death as suicide. But Shen Tianrui instinctively felt that this case was not that simple. The day after the incident, he and a colleague went to Shen Yingying's home again to look for any new clues. As a result, after returning to the police station, he seemed a little abnormal. He kept shouting, "Yingying, Yingying." He was still there with a crazy smile and said, "I want to marry Yingying, I want to be with Yingying, and none of you can stop me." All the colleagues in the Public Security Bureau were so frightened by his strangeness that they had goosebumps. Feng Qin, the director of the branch, quickly called Shen Wenzheng, the director of the General Bureau, and told Shen Wenzheng about Shen Tianrui's situation. Shen Wenzheng was having a meeting in the provincial government at the time. Even though he was anxious, he couldn't make it back, so he simply asked the branch director Feng Qin to send Shen Tianrui back to the Shen family, and then asked his eldest brother Shen Wenjun to find Xiao Xin to solve the problem. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 88. After Shen Tianxing read the contents of Tianyan, he directly used his spiritual power to force out the dark shadow entangled in Shen Tianrui's mind. As soon as the black shadow came out, it instantly took the shape of a female ghost. Shen Tianxing waved his delicate hand and made the female ghost appear, so that everyone could see her. When the female ghost felt the huge pressure coming from Shen Tianxing and the breath of dying, she was so frightened that she almost lost her mind. She quickly knelt in front of Shen Tianxing, kowtowed and begged for mercy. "Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me." However, Shen Tianxing was not moved by her at all and only asked her coldly, "Shen Yingying, since you have become a ghost, you should know that humans and ghosts have different paths. It's fine if you don't reincarnate. Why are you still pestering my brother, won't let go? Say it." When he said the last word, Shen Tianxing deliberately added a sound attack to hypnotize him. The female ghost's soul became weaker again, and she replied with a trembling voice, "I pestered Mr. Shen firstly because I liked him, and secondly because I wanted him to help me avenge myself. I didn't commit suicide, I was pushed down, killed." Shen Tianxing snorted coldly, "Shen Yingying, if you want revenge or redress of grievances, you can definitely communicate with my elder brother, but why do you want to harm him? You also controlled his mind and made him argue with his family and marry you. You feel that it is a great sense of accomplishment to do this, don't you? The female ghost quickly shook her head. No, 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 I just saw that Mr. Shen and the others were helpless with my case, and temporarily concluded that they would commit suicide. I was afraid that my death would never bring justice to justice, so at this time, I heard Mr. Shen's colleague say that he has a sister who is very good at investigating cases and asked him to come back to you, but Mr. Shen didn't want to trouble you. I was so anxious that I controlled him. I just want to see you. Please help me to kill the person who killed me. The murderer will be brought to justice. Shen Tianxing smiled coldly and said with a cold expression, do you think it's possible for me to help you after you killed my eldest brother? Shen Yingying's grimace fell instantly, and she said sadly, those beasts are still at large, is my death like this in vain? My deep injustice cannot be redressed. How unfair is this? How unfair is it? You. Shen Tianxing became impatient with her crying and shouted, why are you crying? Shut up. You caused my brother's debt and I will settle it with you later. Shen Yingying closed her mouth instantly and looked at Shen Tianxing pitifully. Seeing her look like this, Shen Tianxing's tone softened, tell me, what happened to your death? Shen Yingying took a breath and then talked about the reason why she was killed. The story of Shen Yingying is a very bloody story of a relative who murdered someone and took away their wealth. She originally had a happy family. Her father Sheng'an was the founder and president of the original Sheng'an Hotel. Her mother was a virtuous housewife who loved her and her father very much. The family of three lived a very happy life. But a man-made car accident 6 years ago took the lives of Shen Yingying's parents. The only thing that should be fortunate is that Sheng'an had made a will before his death, stating that if he died, all his inheritance would be left to his biological daughter Shen Yingying. If his daughter is not yet 18 years old when he dies, his estate will be entrusted to Wei Zhong Law Firm and Zhishang Investment Company to jointly manage the estate in his name before the daughter comes of age. After the daughter comes of age, the daughter will have full control. Inherit. If his daughter dies due to an accident before she reaches the age of 18, all her inheritance will be set up as the Sheng'an Charitable Foundation and no one will be allowed to inherit it. Shen Yingying, who was only 12 years old at the time, did not know that the death of her parents was the result of her uncle Sheng Li. And her uncle Sheng Li, who was bent on seizing her brother's property, never expected that her brother Sheng'an would have already made such a strict will at such a young age, making all his plans come to nothing. Sheng Li had no choice but to pretend to be a good uncle, bring his niece to his home, and feed her well, hoping to wait until she turns 18 to receive the inheritance before killing her. Facts have proved that Sheng Li's plan was indeed successful. After Shen Yingying turned 18, at Sheng Li's instigation, Shen Yingying successfully took over all of her father's inheritance from Weizhong Law Firm and Zhishang Investment Company, and became a billionaire in the blink of an eye. Rich woman. Afterwards, Sheng Li asked her to appoint herself as president. In the eyes of outsiders, Sheng Li is now the owner of Sheng'an Hotel. Shen Yingying, who was raised by Sheng Li to be lazy and lazy, directly worked in the accounting department of Sheng'an Hotel before she was admitted to college in high school. At the age of 20, she was promoted to the manager of the accounting department. But as a connected person in the eyes of others, she basically lives in a state of waiting for death in the company. Everything is done by her colleagues, so she does not get the respect of her colleagues. On this day, after she quarreled with her colleagues in the accounting department, she rushed to Sheng Li's office, hoping to find a place for her and fire the accounting colleague who had quarreled with her. But she didn't expect that she heard Sheng Li discussing with others and planning how to murder her. Shen Yingying's spirit was greatly hit. She never thought that her uncle, who had loved her and loved her for the past few years, would want her life at any time. Before Sheng Li noticed her, Shen Yingying quietly returned to the office. But Shen Yingying didn't expect that Sheng Li's secretary saw her coming to see Sheng Li, and the secretary told Sheng Li about her visit. The evil-minded Shengli suddenly broke into a cold sweat when he thought of what he had just said to someone. Regardless of whether Shen Yingying heard it or not, he decided to just kill her. Feeling uneasy, Shen Yingying once again found Wei's Hong law firm and Zhi's Hang investment company, signed an entrustment supervision agreement with these two companies, and wrote a will similar to her father's. If she dies, all the property in her name will be set up as the Shenyan Charitable Foundation to help people in need. 2 days later, she received a call from her uncle Shengli inviting her to look at a house in a certain community. Shen Yingying seemed to have a premonition, so she put on a red dress and high heels. She once heard someone say that if a person dies unjustly and wears red clothes and red shoes, he will turn into a ghost and demand his life. She wasn't sure whether her smiling tiger uncle would kill her this time, but it was always right to take some precautions. After arriving at the house Shengli bought in that community, Shengli directly showed her his cards and gave her two options. Or, she takes the initiative to transfer all the property to his name, and he lets her live. Or, he kills her, creates a suicide scene, and then inherits her inheritance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 89. Shen Yingying looked at Shengli's proud and arrogant face and couldn't help but sneer in her heart. I wonder if her good uncle would be furious if he found out afterwards that she had left such a will just like her father? Shen Yingying did not directly answer which path to choose. She asked Shengli softly, "Uncle, were my father and mother's car accident the result of your involvement?" Shengli rolled his eyes and laughed slyly, "Why do you ask this?" Shen Yingying looked at him directly and said seductively, "Uncle, as long as you tell me the truth, I can transfer the shares of Shenyan Hotel to you." Shengli thought about it and felt that he had made enough preparations here and was not afraid that his little niece could escape from his grasp, so he said carelessly, "Yingying, don't blame me, who made your father so stingy. Well, I begged him nicely and asked him to give me some shares of Shenyan Hotel so that I can live a wealthy life like you, and I'm satisfied. But what about your dad? He refused to agree and asked me to work honestly and don't think about these messy things. I had no choice but to do it." I said, "Yingying, are you like your dad? So stupid, you want money rather than your life." Shen Yingying smiled softly, "You're right. To deal with a scumbag like you, I really want money rather than my life. Even if I burn all the money, I won't leave it to you." When Shengli heard this, he was immediately furious. He stepped forward and grabbed Shen Yingying's long hair and pulled her hard to the balcony. "Okay, you want money rather than life, right? Then I will kill you first today life." Shen Yingying looked at Shengli's furious face and couldn't help laughing loudly, "Even if I die, I won't leave the money to you. Uncle, you are destined to be a pauper in your life. If beasts and scum like you all have a good end, and that's because God has no eyes for it." Shengli was so angry at Shen Yingying's sharp words that he pushed Shen Yingying downstairs. "You little bitch, go to hell." Shen Yingying, who originally felt that living was meaningless, suddenly wanted to live again when she felt her body falling continuously. But by this time, she no longer had the right to choose. Death can only be her only destination. Seeing that she was dead but Shengli was still alive and well, how could Shen Yingying be willing to do so? Shen Yingying originally wanted to wait for the Public Security Bureau to solve the case, redress her grievances, and bring Shengli to justice. However, when she saw that the police could not find any evidence to prove that Shengli killed her, she decided to commit suicide instead. Shen Yingying was furious. Therefore, she fell in love with Shen Tianrui after she heard from Shen Tianrui's colleagues that Shen Tianxin was very good at solving crimes. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but sigh, and felt a little sympathy for Shen Yingying. What a poor, silly girl. Shen Tianxing asked her again, since you have become a ghost, why don't you just ask for your life from Shen Li? Shen Yingying said angrily, that beast is wearing a jade pendant. As soon as I get close to him, the jade pendant will emit a light and pop me out. Shen Tianxing was a little strange, then my brother also has a protective jade pendant on his body, and he has a lot of yang energy. How can you get on top of him? Shen Yingying looked confused, I don't know either. I just thought that I would ask him to help me redress my grievances and take revenge, so I entered him like this. Shen Tianxing secretly thought, maybe it was God's will to clear up her family's grievances. Shen Tianxing said to Shen Yingying, okay, take me to Shen Li's house. If everything you say is true, I will seek justice for you. Shen Tianxing took out another nourishing pill and gave it to Shen Tianrui, then turned around and told her uncle and aunt, uncle, aunt, I gave the eldest brother the nourishing pill. Don't touch him, just let him sleep well, just sleep until he wakes up naturally and he will be fine. Shen Wenjun and Ma Hongying looked at Shen Tianxing with gratitude and said, Xiao Xing, thank you. Xiao Xing, we really don't know what we would do without you. Thank you, auntie. Shen Tianxing smiled, family, you're welcome. She then said to Shen Wenru, Dad, I will take Shen Yingying to find Shen Li first. If what Shen Yingying said is true, I will ask Shen Li to go directly to his elder brother tomorrow to surrender and plead guilty. I will come back as soon as I'm done. Shen Wenru was very pleased to see how capable his daughter was and felt very proud of her. Okay, you have to be careful and pay attention to your safety. Shen Tianxing smiled and said, I will. After saying that, Shen Tianxing said to Shen Yingying, come to me and show me the way. Shen Yingying quickly floated up and climbed onto Shen Tianxing's shoulders. Shen Tianxing waved to everyone and then teleported. In the blink of an eye, she returned to Su City with Shen Yingying. Following Shen Yingying's instructions, Shen Tianxing came to Shen Li's house. Shen Tianxing didn't knock on the door, he just became invisible, then used the wall penetration technique, and entered Shen Li's house. Shen Li was sitting on the sofa, drinking wine, eating peanuts, and watching TV to see that he was living a good life. Shen Tianxing couldn't help but secretly sigh in his heart. This man's psychological quality was really strong. He killed his own brother's family of 3, and yet he could still act as if nothing had happened. He didn't notice anything at all. This inhuman beast should be sent to hell as soon as possible. After Shen Tianxing, who had hidden himself, and Shen Yingying confirmed that it was Shen Li, he directly cast a spell and cast a mantra spell on Shen Li. This kind of mantra spell is directly attached to the human body. As long as Shen Tianxing does not remove the spell from his body, he will only be able to tell the truth in his life. After casting the mantra, Shen Tianxing hypnotized Shen Li again, asking him to go to the Public Security Bureau at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to find Shen Tianrui to surrender and plead guilty. After finishing all this, Shen Tianxing retreated from Shen Li's house. She said to Shen Yingying again, Shen Yingying, you can see the results tomorrow. After your uncle surrenders and pleads guilty, you can quickly go to the underworld and be reincarnated. Shen Yingying looked at Shen Tianxing with grateful eyes, knelt down to her again, and kowtowed 3 times, thank you, Master, for your great kindness. Yingying will repay it in the next life. Shen Tianxing waved his delicate hand and lifted her up, okay, I'm going home. You can find a place to stay by yourself. Shen Yingying nodded and said firmly, I'll stay here and watch with my own eyes as this beast surrenders himself to the Public Security Bureau and pleads guilty. Whatever. After Shen Tianxing finished speaking, he teleported back home. At 9 o'clock the next day, Shen Li walked into the police station where Shen Tianrui worked, surrendered and confessed, and was eventually sentenced to death. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 90. While Shen Tianrui was busy handling the case, Shen Tianxing also welcomed several of her friends. When Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng came over, they all brought gifts. Zhang Hua brought a bank card given by his parents with 1,000,000 yuan in it, as well as some famous wines, cigarettes, teas, and supplements. He handed them all to Shen Tianxing. Then, Zhang Hua said to Shen Tianxing sincerely again, "Tianxing, our family will always remember your great kindness to our family and will never forget it. As I said before, from now on Zhang Hua's life is yours. If you have anything to do with me in the future, just ask, and I will do my best to do it for you." Shen Tianxing took the gift from his hand and said with a smile, "This bank card and these gifts are enough to repay me. Don't ever use your life as my life again. I not your life." Zhang Hua smiled and stopped arguing with Shen Tianxing. As long as he believes in and commits to something, he will work hard to do it. The gifts Wu Haishan brought were some dried game and seafood such as mushrooms and squid. The gifts Gao Lingfeng brought were some frozen sea fish, lobsters, and other seafood products. Shen Tianxing watched them carry out big and small bags one after another from the car, and couldn't help but smile. "You guys came here, why did you bring so many things here?" Wu Haishan chuckled and said, "These are not expensive things, they are just trivial things. We can't come here to live and eat for free, Lingfeng, are you right?" Gao Lingfeng, who had always been taciturn, also nodded, indicating that Wu Haishan was right. "Okay, then I won't be polite to you. I will accept all these gifts." Shen Tianxing smiled and took all their gifts home. At worst, she could just give them another gift in return when they go back. After they entered the room and sat down, Li Xiaoxia also brought out a pot of tea and a plate of fruit with a smile, and greeted them warmly. Come on, classmates, drink some tea and eat some fruit first. These fruits are ours. The ones produced in the ecological orchard are more delicious than those sold outside. If you like it, just eat more. After you finish eating, Auntie will cut it into a plate and bring it over." Zhang Hua and Wu Haishan said repeatedly, "Thank you, Auntie. Auntie, you are so kind." Even Gao Lingfeng, who had always been taciturn, politely said to Li Xiaoxia, "Thank you, Auntie." Li Xiaoxia smiled at them and said, "You're welcome, you guys chat, I'll go and get busy first." The villa of Shen Tianxing's family is very large, with nearly 10 reserved guest rooms. Zhang Hua and the three of them have a good relationship with Shen Tianxing and are good people, so Shen Tianxing will arrange for them to live in his home. Shen Tianxing first took them to the guest room to put away their luggage, and then greeted them, "Let's have a cup of tea and eat some fruit first, and then I will take you out to play." Wu Haishan asked, "Tianxing, what fun things do you have here?" Shen Tianxing smiled and replied, "There is a lot of fun. You can go to the orchard to pick fruits, go fishing, fish, bungee jumping, grass skiing, horse riding, archery, field games, bumper cars, pirate ships, etc. What do you want to do? Any project will do." Wu Haishan looked surprised. "Wow, you have so many fun things here." Shen Tianxing said proudly, "Of course, otherwise, why would there be so many people coming to my Shen's ecological manor? Of course there are good food, good drinks, and fun things here." Wu Haishan said impatiently, "Then let's leave quickly." Seeing Zhang Hua and Gao Lingfeng also looking eager to try, Shen Tianxing stood up with a smile, "Okay, let's go. I'll take you around first, and then play with whatever you see, okay no?" Gao Lingfeng simply responded, "Okay." Zhang Hua said, "Of course." Wu Haishan grinned happily and said, "We are guests and hosts as we please, ha ha ha." Under the leadership of Shen Tianxing, they walked all the way. When Wu Haishan saw the beautiful sea of flowers, the huge green lawn, and the people playing and screaming on the lawn, he couldn't help but sigh in admiration from time to time. "Wow, Tianxing, your home is so beautiful. Tianxing, the air here seems to be very fresh. There seems to be a sweet smell of fruit in the air. Tianxing, they are having so much fun, shall we go and play too? Under Wu Haishan's strong suggestion, Shen Tianxing took them to play grass skiing and sliding, and then went to play horse riding and archery. After completing these sports, it was time for lunch. Shen Tianxing received a call from Li Xiaoxia and quickly took the three of them back home. Li Xiaoxia has prepared a large table of delicious dishes and is waiting for them to come back for dinner. When he saw them coming back, he quickly smiled and waved to them, "Xiaoxing, quickly bring your classmates over for dinner." Wu Haishan, Zhang Hua and Gao Lingfeng looked at the table full of delicious dishes, and immediately looked at Li Xiaoxia with admiration. Wu Haishan, who has the sweetest mouth, immediately flattered Li Xiaoxia, "Auntie, thank you for your hard work. I want to eat this big table of dishes just looking at it. You must have put a lot of thought into it, right?" Li Xiaoxia chuckled softly and said, "I didn't put much thought into it. They are all home-cooked dishes. However, these fish, meat, vegetables and fruits are all produced by us. They are guaranteed to be authentic and taste good." Shen Wenru also came back from the office, smiled and said to them, "Stop just talking, sit down. Students, do you want some drinks?" Wu Haishan, Zhang Hua and Gao Lingfeng all looked at Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "You can drink a little if you want. These wines are also brewed by us. Drinking a little is good for your health, but don't drink too much. Otherwise, you won't be able to have fun in the afternoon." Wu Haishan immediately smiled and said, "We will have a drink with uncle, and we will never drink too much." At the dinner table, Wu Haishan's talkativeness, cheerfulness and good drinking capacity soon won Shen Wenru's favor. Zhang Hua and Gao Lingfeng, apart from occasionally having a drink with each other, were always eating vegetables. Then, Zhang Hua said to Li Xiaoxia from time to time, "Auntie, the food you cook is so delicious. It would be great if I could eat the food cooked by Auntie every day." Gao Lingfeng simply agreed, "Well, it's really delicious." When everyone had eaten and drank enough and was about to take a rest, Shen Tianxing suddenly discovered that the yintang of Wu Haishan was faintly black. Her heart skipped a beat. They were fine before eating, but why did Wu Haishan's yintang turn black after eating? Could it be that something would happen if they went out to play in the afternoon?